is Joy Kenyanji. I am a year 10 student in Brookhouse School, Ruda, and today I'll be answering some of the interview questions that I was asked. What are some of the ritual celebrations that will take place if a new life is given to, and what do they signify? So in the traditional African society and in the rituals that are practiced here in Kenya, some of the celebrations include blessings and offerings to the ancestors, where people converge and give in food offerings or money offerings to the ancestors in order to have health and prosperity for the newborn baby. Also, there's a naming ceremony where family members and community members gather to decide on a name for the newborn baby that reflects their future and reflects their characteristics. The characteristics that they would want the baby to have. Also, there are feastings and celebrations, of course, as Africans love to party. There's so many celebrations, so many feastings, just to celebrate the life of a newborn. Secondly, will women of your community be respected if they refuse to give birth? Why or why not? In my community specifically, I come from the Kikuyu tribe of Kenya, and in my community, women, like in the traditional society, I'm going to speak on the traditional society and then in now, because like a lot has changed since then and people's views towards certain things has changed. So in the traditional society, women were actually seen as just birth givers and child carers. So their main role was to be a mother and to take care of children and to cook and to clean and do all those stereotypical stuff that we would call today. But in today's society, women have been emancipated and they are more, and their roles are diversifying more, and they are not they are not restrained to just housework or family work. So in my community, they would be respected in this day and age, but before, I don't think so. Do you think people in your community have gender preferences? If yes, why so? I'm going to speak on the traditional community again. Traditionally, the children that were, the boy child was like expected more and was wanted more, because back then a lot of manual farm work had to be done, and people believed men were more capable than women in that aspect, and children were born mainly for that purpose. So before, yes, they did have gender preferences due to the roles that the male child and female child had to play. But now I doubt those gender preferences are still there, considering the mechanization and the reduced need for children to do such work. So right now, every child is just a blessing to their family. Yeah. Will people who have facial or mental disadvantages be seen as outliers or burdens of the family? I believe that they wouldn't, because in Kenya we are actually such a harboring community and a loving community, and we accept everyone and anyone for how they are. And I truly believe that they will not be seen as burdens or outliers, because everyone in Kenya is just so open to loving and caring for people that this wouldn't even be seen as a burden. Yeah. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Franchesca from Brookhouse Schools, Rwanda here in Kenya, and today I will be answering some interview questions I was asked. So question 1 says, what are some of the rituals or celebrations that will take place if a new life is given to? If yes, what do they signify? In Uganda, where I come from, naming ceremony will be held. This is a ceremony where the extended family comes together, and the grandparents give traditional and family names to the newborn babies as a sign of the newborn babies are a continuation of their lineage, and to also give the newborn babies cultural identity. And also old tradition is where after giving birth, a mother will be isolated from her newborn baby and from her husband, and she'll be given traditional herbs to help her with the pain after giving birth. And the next day, a feast will be held with her family members, and she'll be able to interact with her baby and with her husband. This ceremony is called the cleansing ceremony for women, and it is done to welcome a woman into motherhood. Yeah, so question 2 says, will women of your community be respected if they refuse to give birth? Why or why not? Traditionally, having a child is earning your respect. Marriages where women couldn't and didn't want to give birth, the man would naturally find other women to give him children. So the women who couldn't and wouldn't give him children were sent away from their marital home because they were seen as a disgrace to their family, unfortunately. So also in the situation of barrenness, the fault of not being able to conceive children was placed on a woman. And unfortunately, women couldn't voice the thoughts without fear of being beaten by the husbands, because back then husbands were allowed to beat their wives, and husbands were allowed to bring as many women as they wanted into their marital home, but women were not allowed to bring any man into their marital home. Yeah. So question 3, does religion play a big role in communicating certain messages about new birth? If yes, what are the religions and how do they shape people's cognitive bias regarding new birth? For Christians, birth is taken very seriously, and parents are taught traditions supposed to relate to their newborn children, like singing Christian rhymes and reading the Bible to them and teaching them Bible verses as a way of bringing them up, in a household where they know that the children come from God, because children were seen as a blessing from God according to Christianity. So parents were encouraged to take care of the children very, very well. So yeah, next question. Question 4. Do you think people in your community have gender preferences? If yes, why so? In the African context, families prefer to have a boy, especially as a firstborn child, because they were seen as the heir to the family riches. And despite how some rich families were, the girl child would still be neglected. But with the modern family setup, it's getting more relaxed situation whereby any gender of the child could inherit the family's fortune. Whereas if you look at traditionally back then, the boys were seen as the only heirs. They were seen as the only people who were capable to, uphold the family lineage, and the girl child was seen as they were only meant to be wives and only meant to cook and only meant to clean. So yeah. And next question number 5. Will people who have facial or mental disadvantages be seen as outliners or burdens of the family? Okay, in my experience in Uganda, it depends on the belief and how unified a family is. If a family has a strong bond, definitely there will be support toward the disadvantaged family member. But if a family isn't supportive, I've seen situations where let's say it's a whole household, and then there's this little child who is born with, let's say, she's lame or she's blind, and she can't do anything on her own, and she has literally the attention of other family members. I've seen situations where the disunited families literally make those children homeless. Like they chase them out of their household because they're seen traditionally they're seen as they were bad luck children. So yeah, it really depends on the beliefs of the family and how unified the family will be. So yeah.